Hello. This is my submission for the homework 9 for terrain editing. So here, let me showcase the code functionality first. So when I run the code will ask me to either raise, lower, flatten, save, and exit. So let's say I want to raise, and then I can then choose the coordinate, and I can do, let's say, 40 by 60 with a radius of 20 and the amount by 15. This will raise the 40 by 60 coordinate over there by the amount 15 with a radius of 20. And then I can also do the lower uh, with the coordinate of, like, let's say 76 by 93 with a radius of 30 and the amount by 25. Let's say that. I, that would test both the raise, lower. For flatten, it's kind of hard to test because the original object is already kind of flat. So I can just do save instead. That will basically save all the new edited data into the edited terrain object, which I can open it right after. And then I can do exit, which then exit out. So let's open the object really quick. Give me a second. By opening this, you can see, there you go. Both the raise and lower. Like I showcased earlier, because I select the lower area to be bigger, then what you see is the bigger lower, and then also the raise is slightly smaller, but that's the code functionality. Now let's go to talking about the code I work on. So there was not a lot that added. So the MK mainly add all the main function, which is basically raise terrain, lower terrain, and flatten terrain, while I work on the live edit terrain, which is basically in the terminal right there. So the first part is I just basically create a method called just live edit terrain, which will then take in a 2D array of float height map as input. Then I will also create a new scanner just to basically read the user input into the from the console. Moving on, I also just start a infinite loop, which just allow the user to repeatedly edit the terrain until they choose to exit, which basically just asks them to raise, lower, flatten, save, or exit, and then just scan for the user input. Let's see. For the first case, if the user just type exit, it will basically break the loop and just exit out. And then else if the user typed save, it will call for save to object file, which then save to the edited terrain OPJ. Then if then IOE exception occur during saving, it would just print like a stack trace to help debug the issue. And then moving on to the main part of the code. Let's see, this part right here, if the user did not choose to basically either exit or save, the program will just ask for the four number. These four number basically represent the x and y, x and z coordinates. So center x, x coordinate for the terrain modification center. Center z just basically represent the z coordinate of the terrain modification center. The radius just how big the affected area is, and the value is just the amount. They're gonna be either raised or lower, depend on how much input. So 5 will be lower than, let's say, 15, let's say, for example. Moving on to the switch to all of this part right here. So switch action to lowercase, this just to make sure that case insensitive, yeah. So it's just lowercase everything so that it's match up. So even though the user either type all caps lock or just half caps lock or whatever, it will basically see that as the same. So yeah, just to ensure case insensitive messaging basically. And then I also use the switch statement to determine like what terrain modification function to call. So if the user type raise, it will then call to the raise method up here, and then take in all the center x, center z, radius, center x, center z, radius, and value, and then just input that onto the method. and which then basically calculate and then save that to the edited terrain file, similarly to the lower and to the flatten. All of this just basically call for the method up here to edit the height map pretty much. And then if the user type anything that's invalid, it just print out invalid action and then ask them again. And finally, when the type user type exit, it just basically close the scanner and exit out, right? And that should be everything that I did. Thank you very much.